Good morning, thriving warriors and those who wish they were. Alexa, what is the date?
Today is Sunday, June 19th.
Great. What time is it, Alexa? Alexa, what time is it?
It's 6:34 a.m.
Great. And Alexa, what is the weather forecast for today? Alexa, what's the weather forecast?
Right now in Pahrump, it's 58 degrees Fahrenheit with clear skies and sun. Throughout the day, you can expect more of the same, with a high of 84 degrees and a low of 58 degrees.
Great. Okay, well, good morning once again, people. You can probably see behind me, looks like a bunch of junk. It's not junk. It's donations from Mark Roland. So we're putting together kits for new people. Things like chargers, cables, stuff that people need when they get out of prison that Mark has accumulated over years. So we're becoming very well stocked for people getting released from prison who, other than this one thing, people getting released from prison to make sure they have all of the tools they need to become successful. So, a lot of work up here. Cataloging and bagging, this type of stuff, so that when people get out, they have something to do. Okay. Also, it's getting close to the end of the month. We need to know who's planning to be here in July. In order to be here in July, you have to have paid for June. So if you have not paid for June, expect a call or visit from Jeff or me or someone else to discuss that, what you're going to do if you plan to be here in July, because Salvation Army wants all of the rooms that we have left. We're here to serve people who want to do their part. And trust me, we have people who really don't give a fuck about your problems. They just care about their money. And they blame you. And so were it possible that we didn't have to charge, you wouldn't be charged. However, that's not really possible. And as I continue to be reminded, what do you expect from people coming out of prison? They're always going to live down to their expectations. So I'm the one taking the hits for the behavior that you do when you don't do what you say you need to do. Try to exceed expectations. If you can't exceed expectations, let the people know that you're doing your best. And if that's not good enough for them, there's not much else you can do about it. You can only do your best. Okay, so how about a little Seth Godin, The Arc of History. All right. The Arc of History. By every geological measure, modern human life is a tiny blip, a spark. Yes. Okay, I'm on a podcast. Okay. By every geological measure, modern life is a tiny blip, a spark of static on a very long playing record. For most of the time that life has existed on Earth, there were no humans. And when there were humans, human-like creatures, they spent much of their time doing not much. Nomads eat when they need to, move around and hang out. It's not an easy life, but there are none of the modern distractions, or problems that urban culture presents. Grain began to change things because agriculture produces far more calories per acre, allowing populations to grow and to store the results of our labor. Stored grain, though, is easier to steal and to tax than something that must be eaten fresh off the tree or harvested. And so you get markets and wars and governments and the rise of groups of people wealthier than any individual farmer or nomad could be. This is all mostly irrelevant. It's irrelevant in the way that understanding how Edison made movies or sound recordings is irrelevant. It's nice to know the history, but it doesn't help you win an Oscar or Grammy. The two most relevant forces are in a powerful dance right now. The carbon-fueled growth of industry and the information-fueled growth of ideas and connection. Industry changed the way the Earth looks from space. It enriched billions of people, and it has driven our species to the brink of extinction due to the impact on the climate. It has often been based on caste and coercion and created both opportunities and problems. Connection has enabled culture to thrive, and in recent years, amplified by the noise of the internet, it's also made many people miserable in the short term. As we slog through another long, challenging year, one in which these two forces conflict, amplify, and engage with each other, I'm remembering what Theodore Parker said more than 150 years ago. I do not pretend to understand the moral universe. The arc is a long one. My eye reaches but little ways. I cannot calculate the curve and complete the figure by the experience of sight. I can divine it by conscience. But from what I see, I am sure it bends towards justice. We really don't have a lot of choice about yesterday. Here we are. Many of us have more leverage and power than any human on Earth made just 100 years ago. In the last few decades, so many areas of culture have moved forward that defenders of the status quo are becoming exhausted, trying to defend what was. And they sometimes express that exhaustion through anger, division, and vitriol. The good news is that we have exactly what we need to make things better. If enough of us stand up and lead and connect, we'll continue to get closer to what's possible. Here's to peace of mind and possibility. They go together. Okay, so let's go back. We really don't have a lot of choice about yesterday. Here we are, many of us with more leverage and power than any human on Earth had just 100 years ago. In the last few decades, so many areas of culture have moved forward that defenders of the status quo are becoming exhausted trying to defend what was. And they sometimes express that exhaustion through anger, division, and vitriol. The good news is that we have exactly what we need to make things better. If enough of us stand up and lead and connect, we'll continue to get closer to what's possible. Here's to peace of mind and possibility. They go together. Okay, so what is the point of that? If we work together, we understand what the problem is. If we understand what the problems are, and we are focused on making things better together, not just what's best for me, then life will get better. We have to work together. It's not me, it's we. What are you doing to help other people? What are you doing in your apartments to help the other people in the apartments move forward in life? That's the question. So we're at 9:43. Yesterday was the only easy day. What does that mean? Why should we care? Well, I would simply say what it means is it's an outlook that the most successful people, the most highly trained people in the world adopt as a way of life. And if the most highly trained people in the world adopt that as a way of life, shouldn't us mere mortals do the same thing? I think so. So, yesterday was the only easy day. What are you going to do today to make it a little bit better for other people and improve yourself? Okay, with that, we're going to sign out. We have somebody here who's sick. I need to deal with that because his problems become my problems. We're all in this together. And cut. Cut.